All right, let's bring him in. He ranks in the top 10 of nearly every Cincinnati Bengals receiving record. He was a firm believer in the Bengals since at least week 4, maybe week 8. I don't know. Depends on when you listen to him on his Lemon Pepper Parlay podcast. Let's bring him in here. Our friend TJ Houshmandzadeh. What's happening, TJ?
Sal, how you guys doing, man? Good to be here, man. Yeah, I was probably a firm believer. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say about week 10, 11.
Okay. What happened? What happened what did you see then that made you turn the corner? Was it the rest of the quarterbacks like falling off in the division, or was it something you saw specifically with the Bengals?
It was, if you recall, the Bengals lost to the Jets, not a playoff team.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
The Bears, not a playoff team. Cleveland, not a playoff team, but many expected for them to be one. Mm-hmm. I just felt like the way they started playing towards the end of the season, like they got a chance. Now, did I think they would go to the Super Bowl? I did not. But I picked them in each and every game because the way that they were playing, and we'll get into this, I'm assuming, but everybody wants to give credit to this offense. Mm-hmm. That defense is the reason they're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. We were actually just talking about that. Maybe you want to elaborate on that? It's true because the offensive numbers were, I don't want to say pedestrian, but it wasn't like Josh Allen type, like, oh my God, how did they lose this game? How is this even a game kind of thing, right? The defense did step up.
I mean, you go back to the first game. Kansas City Chiefs scored 28 points in the first half, 3 in the second half. You go back to the AFC Championship. Kansas City scored 21 points in the first half, 3 in the second half again. Andy Reid got really cocky, I thought, at the end of the first half, kicked the field goal. You just think you're going to blow them out, kick the field goal, and it come back and bites them in the ass later on. But defensively, they couldn't get pressure with 4. They're rushing 4, the Bengals. No pressure on Mahomes. You know, we can't get pressure with 4. We might as well drop 8 now and give him an extra guy in coverage. And that's what they started to do. And the Chiefs couldn't adjust. The Bengals offense made enough plays, but they're not here because of their offense. It plays a part. That defense really buckled down. Jesse Bates in the back end made big play after big play after big play. To me, that's where they won the game, and that's where in the Super Bowl is that defense. Offense, we're always going to get the headlines, but you're going to go far because your defense are making the necessary plays.
Yeah, this is not very offensive-minded of you. It's not what I expect. I expected love from Boyd and Higgins and Chase and everything. But you hit it on that. And by the way, you said the smartest thing I had heard last week about the 13 seconds that the Chiefs won the game against the Bills. And drop everybody. Drop everybody because this guy's got 3 or 4 seconds to get rid of the ball, and it's not a Hail Mary situation. And they kind of did a hybrid of that. It sounds like what you're saying in the second half, because we were talking about when Mahomes is so elusive, when he's spinning out of those sack situations, and you're like, all right, he's got you dead to rights, right? And he had nothing. It was unbelievable how they couldn't adjust. And do you think that was the minor difference, just rushing 3 instead of 4?
Yeah, they weren't getting pressure with 4. So why not drop 8 in coverage? In Kansas City, they're like a boxer. All they want to do is knock you out with every punch. Instead of just win the round and score points, they want to knock you out with every punch. And the Bengals are dropping guys in the coverage. Kansas City can throw shallow crossing routes and 5-yard outs all game, but that's not what they're calling. You know, they'll do that one play and then try to take 5 or 6 shot plays. You can't do that with a team that's dropping everybody back, but that's just who they are. And so we have a saying, you can't grin when you win and sing the blues when you lose. That's just what the Chiefs do. They go for the knockout, and it just didn't work. But kudos to that defense and an offense. And I did say last week, they said, who's your X factor in the game? I said, they're going to take Jamar Chase out the game. Tee Higgins have to have a big game. If he doesn't have a big game, they can't win. And Tee Higgins had a big game.
By the way, did he look bigger? Did he look like he grew like 4 inches? Like I remember him in Clemson. Like, wow, this is a 19-year-old who was playing high school football last year, and but he really looked like he was 6'10", or like played like he was 6'10" yesterday.
He's a big boy. Height-wise, he's thin, but height-wise, he trained out here for a bit with me leading up to the draft. Yeah, and he's extreme. I would say he's at least 6'4.5", 6'5" for sure.
Yeah, that's
he's a thin guy, real quiet, but you knew they were going to take Jamar out of the game. You knew that. And so if T didn't have the type of game that he had, it was going to be tough. He came through, the Bengals came through, because that offensive line against Tennessee, and even early on, I'm like, oh, man, this is about to get ugly.
Here's how you know they were going to take Jamar out of the game. He had 266 last time they met up. His over-under was what, Brian? Like 76? 80?
Ended up 82. Like 82, yeah.
82. Yeah. So it was like, what are we missing? Everyone's going to bet the over here and lose. And he had a shade under that. When were you the most pissed? I know you were mad at the referees. You've been mad at them like everybody else all year. But when the Chiefs won the coin toss, that must have been infuriating, right?
Nah, you know what's crazy? If they change the rule, okay. It's fine. You give both teams possession. It adds the intrigue of what's going to happen. But the team that gets the ball second has an advantage because they're going to always know what they need. They need a touchdown. They have 4 downs. And so you could look at it that way as well.
If they get it, yeah, sure.
And this is the thing, though. Last week, the Chiefs win the toss. They go on to win the game. This week, did you hear the crowd when they won a toss? They're like, oh, game over, baby. They're cheering. They thought the game was over. And so when you see stuff like that, you win it one week, you lose it the following week, it isn't the end all be all. The rule is fine as it is. If they were to change it, I wouldn't mind. It wouldn't make a difference, but I like the way it is because the Bengals, they made plays on defense. They knew the situation. They knew what happened last week. They were very aware of that. And we always look at it and say, oh, Josh Allen played a great game. Well, you had a top 5 defense. They should have stopped him.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I guess it depends on the situation, right? Like it did seem like that defense last week was gassed and whoever got the ball was going to win. This was an under game. Cincinnati, like you said, the defense was playing well. I want to address the Super Bowl. And one thing, I credit you for this, and I think I hear you say it more than anybody else. Quarterbacks get too much credit when they win and too much shit when things go south. And I think your prime example of this is Matthew Stafford, if I'm right or wrong. And I feel like he's on that getting too much credit when they're winning side of things now with Kupp and Odell Beckham, who's been a spectacular addition right there. I mean, I thought when Woods was out, I was like, wow, this is trouble right now. And like even the beginning of the year, Deshaun Jackson was spreading the field and everything. I was like, this is a weird little setup for him. But is Stafford about to get too much credit in the next 2 weeks?
You know, Sal, you know how it works, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, though. I was one when they traded for Matthew Stafford. I've been a fan of his forever. I met Matthew Stafford when he was at the University of Georgia. And I was at a Nike event and he's throwing the ball. I'm like, ooh, who is this dude? And I never forgot how good of a player he was, and he is. But he was in Detroit. You know, he couldn't win the big game. He sucks, did this and that. He goes to the Rams in a better situation, a better environment, better players. And is he the Stafford that you said sucked? He padded his stats in Detroit when they were losing. And then he comes to the Rams and he has a few bad games. Oh, this is Stafford from Detroit. It's always somewhere in between.
Right.
He has really good players playing with him in the Rams. That defense up front and back, they're really good. Linebacking core needs help. Troy Reader was a liability, I thought, yesterday. But Matthew Stafford can play. I'm not taking that away from him. But the quarterbacks, they get way too much because in everybody's eyes, the best quarterback, their team should always win. Brady didn't win. Mahomes didn't win. Herbert didn't make the playoffs. And so it's the best team wins. But we all want to elevate the quarterback. And when they lose, oh, his offensive line sucks. Oh, he needs better receivers. Oh, the run game's not helping him. Oh, the defense didn't help him out.
Right.
Football's the greatest game in the world because it's 11 guys on each side of the ball and they all need to be working together. And if not, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is.
I think the reason for it, it's all the things you said, but also I think fans are lazy. Like the average fan just knows the quarterbacks on every team. So in order to be right or wrong, and in order to be able to yell about something for 20, 30 seconds straight, you go right after the quarterback, right? He's great. He's bad, right? I don't know. It just seems like if they took time to learn, and I'm at fault too. I go right after the quarterback too. But if you go deeper, you go 5 players deep, you go past fantasy level, you'd see that there are other factors.
I mean, we're guilty of it. And I say we're because I'm a part of the media now.
Yeah.
And the media has
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Right. The quarterback has always been put on a pedestal. Yeah. I mean, you can go point to guys like Ryan Tannehill. He supposedly couldn't play in Miami. Was he that bad? Or is he as good as he is now in Tennessee? Vrabel's that good of a coach? It's just the players are better in Tennessee. He has a better supporting cast, so he's experienced more success. Mm-hmm. It's just that simple. He's not as bad a player as he was in Miami. He's the same player. Tennessee is just a better environment with better players and better structure. And so the media puts the quarterbacks on a pedestal. Oh, you can't win without a quarterback. No, technically you can. You need a competent quarterback. Any quarterback, for the most part in the league, Jimmy G, look at him. NFC Championship game. And they don't want him to throw the ball more than 25 times because when he does, they lose. He's in the NFC Championship game.
I know. They made Deebo Samuel running back so that Jimmy G didn't have to throw the ball. It was insane what happened with that team. See, but there I go again, going after the quarterback. All right, Harry, you have a question for TJ before we let him go. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, TJ. Hey, listen, before the season started, just wanted to let you know, I did give out on our show here Cincinnati at plus 450 to make the playoffs. So it's all over your Bengals. But look, when we were at the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl, we had a blast, and you gave me a winner that when we were talking football, you gave me a winner the next week. You gave me Cincinnati. You gave me the Bengals to beat the Broncos. You told me and told me that why they would. But now, look, I know you were very visible in that when we were at the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl, when the Beavers got upset and played awful against Utah State. Were you more upset with the Beavers, how awful they looked, or are you just more jubilant now for the Bengals, your Bengals making the Super Bowl?
I was upset when Oregon State lost, just because bowl games mean a lot. And you're playing in the LA area, which is a good recruiting area for Oregon State. You lose a game. The Cincinnati Bengals, it's been so long. And for them to experience, dude, just 2 years ago, they were 2-14, drafting number 1. 2 years ago, Burrow's been great. Zach Taylor he's such a calming influence as a head coach that I believe they never get rattled because he doesn't get rattled. But a couple years ago, they were saying, oh man, this is the guy they're replacing Marvin Lewis with. He needs to be let go. And look at him now. The Super Bowl is the pinnacle of sports. And so for the Bengals, who even to this day, people will say are the cheapest franchise, the laughingstock, cheap owners, for them to be in the Super Bowl, I would say I was probably more disappointed in not either team. I would have liked Oregon State to win. The fact that and disclaimer, check this out. Preseason pick, Martin could pull this up. I had the Rams going to the Super Bowl and winning it in the preseason. In last year, I had the Bucks going to the Super Bowl and winning it. Let's see. Maybe I need to really start betting my own money. I just
what are you doing? What are you wasting time on? Of course you should be betting this stuff. But are you going to stick with it? It's early in the 2-week window here. But you have to pick the Bengals. You have to, right?
No, I don't have to.
TJ, the jungle is back, buddy. The jungle is back.
Honestly, though, like I would like to see the Bengals win, but it feels better for me that I picked a team at the start of the season.
I like the honesty.
When you didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know how. You didn't know Robert Woods was going to get hurt. You didn't know they were going to acquire OBJ and Von Miller. I just picked them because I felt like with Sean McVay and them acquiring Matthew Stafford, that would put them over the top. I'm happy for the Bengals. I will see them when they're in LA. But I'm staying with my pick because it was done before the season started.
All right. That's very brave of you. All right. Now, when you say you'll see them in LA, are you going to SoFi? You're sort of a SoFi jinx right now. You know, as Harry remembered with Oregon State. You staying away?
So, you know what's funny, man? The true story. My son just yesterday asked me, are we going to the Super Bowl? I said, probably not. And so he said, why can't we sit where we sat in the one game? He wants to sit where we sat.
You know, I do have
Make it happen, TJ.
I have a couple unused tickets from that event. Maybe, who knows? Maybe they're not paying attention. You scan it, you get in that suite.
Yeah,
Well,
so I'm gonna see if I can get 2 sweet tickets. If I can get 2 sweet tickets, me and my son will be at the Super Bowl. If not, I'll be watching it from the 70-inch screen here.
there you go. Sucking down pineapple. That's not bad. I know the TV's. Listen, you know how the traffic is out here. You'll that'll be a 14-hour fiasco. And if you lose, it's becomes one of the more miserable experiences, right? I try to tell people about LA.
It's the best and the worst. Only in LA could it be January and February, and it's clear skies and palm trees.
Yep, exactly. All right. Well, clear skies, palm trees, all for the Bengals. Congratulations, buddy. You're in the Super Bowl. Nice prediction. And don't ruin it by going to the game. You're going to be just fine at home.
I got you, man. Extra
Thanks,
Point
CJ.
Podcast, man. It's where it's at, man. Y'all tune in and listen to this. I appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks. We love having you on, TJ. Take care, pal.
Thanks, TJ.
Pleasure,
See you, Teach.
Yes,
Thanks,
All right.